Hi guys, it's Ed Leek and I've got two e-commerce dashboards for analytics that allow you to dive straight into the action. Now the reason I like dashboards is because it just gives you a shortcut to getting information instead of having to dive through loads of different reports in analytics. So the first dashboard I've got is the AdWords Performance Dashboard, and it's on screen right now. The cool thing about this dashboard is on the left hand side we've got our sort of health check, as it were. We're getting total clicks, our click-through rate, sales, revenue, and spend information. So what's cool about this, it gives you underneath each widget in the dashboard, each one of these is a widget, it gives you the percentage of the total. So as we can see here, there's 26 sales, which is just 1.3% total of 2,000 sales. So it gives you a barometer of how well your AdWords is working. Now this is test data, so it's a little bit wonky. I wouldn't be too impressed with 26 sales, but then they're only spending $138 in this test data. The other cool thing is the conversion rate here is compared against the site-wide conversion rate, so it gives you this very quick glance at how your pay-per-click performance is stacking up in terms of conversion rate. The other really interesting thing on this dashboard is the unique searches and exits. So this is people searching in your website search for specific things and products. And then it gives you the total unique searches and the amount of exits. So this is a little bit of a goldmine here in that you'll find the top searches and the number of exits. So if you see something like this ingress at number 2, that's had 80% search exits in this time period. Now if this number was bigger, you would have to investigate that, because this will tell you straight away, what are people looking for? What can't they find, or what can't they buy? You know, is there a problem there? Are you missing the product on your website, or is it out of stock, or can they just not find it? And then we've got goal completions by campaign. So this essentially, quickly hovering over it, tells you which campaigns are driving your conversions. So that's quite straightforward, but a nice visualization there, especially if you've got a number of campaigns running, or perhaps you've launched a new campaign and you can quickly see if it's driving conversions. And then back up to the top, we've got another really important one, is the top keyword performance. So these are the top 10 keywords that have driven the most sessions. And the most interesting thing here is the return on ad spend on the right hand side. So you can quickly use this dashboard to identify keywords that are driving a really high ROI and keywords that simply aren't driving any return on investment. And it's, instead of having to dive through AdWords and the different reports in analytics, you can literally jump in here, and essentially it's like the 80-20, it's Pareto's law again. These are your top 10 spenders driving traffic. Are they performing? Then in a similar sort of vein, these are your top destination pages. So page views and bounce rate. Why this is important? Simply because high page views and a higher bounce rate is a problem. Now there isn't one in here, but if you had in your dashboard a high bounce rate, then that means you've got to go and investigate. So you're driving traffic, you're paying for traffic to hit a page that's got a high bounce rate. And on an e-commerce store, that's deadly. So again, this is a really quick way of jumping in and going, okay, we've got a problem with this page, it's a product issue, whatever it may be, I need to investigate it. And again, two other very top level widgets here, your top campaigns and your top ad groups. Again, top campaigns, cost and revenue. It allows you to quickly eyeball your performance here, spend versus return. And the same with your ad groups. How many sessions and transactions are your top ad groups sending to your website? So it's really quick, really powerful, simplifies things, especially if you're a busy store owner or marketing manager. This is just a snapshot, and of course you can compare it to different date ranges and so on and so forth. It'll give you a bit of a trend information. Next is the traffic growth dashboard. So this is based on traffic and revenue essentially. So total visits and then active users right now. But I built this by country. So you might be interested to know where your traffic's coming from, because it sometimes surprises you that perhaps you're advertising and marketing in the United States or UK or whatever it may be, but you'll find there's a lot of traffic coming in from all over the world, which is then important to understand that you might need to start segmenting your data. especially here. So for example, in this test data, say we were only interested in US traffic. Well, over half of the traffic right now is coming from alternative countries, which, if we look at a broad view of our data, is going to skew it because it's going to drive everything down. And again, traffic source is always good to know, and a quick visualization to understand where am I getting my traffic from. For example here, organic is half the traffic sources. And then this dashboard is a comparison between desktop and mobile as well, because it's very important that, how many sessions and how much revenue is coming from desktop, and what does mobile, which includes tablets, look like in comparison to desktop. Now, we do live in a mobile first world. That doesn't mean that everyone purchases on mobile, but it's certainly a growing trend year on year. So if your revenue's falling way behind desktop, then is your mobile experience good enough, essentially? And then these two bar charts show us a breakdown of geography by the traffic source. Again, it's a quick visualization, and mobile traffic breakdown by the type. So we've got Android and the iOS, so the Apple, and based on screen resolution. So again, that's interesting to see because you can see a growth over time and look for trends here. For example, if you're not optimizing your website to 360 by 640 pixels, if this was your data, then you've got a problem. If half your traffic from Android devices is in this resolution range, then your website needs to work perfectly in that resolution range. And again, a top level view of mobile traffic behavior, total users by their conversion rate. Again, helps you spot trends. And on the far right, we've got referring domains by revenue. So this one will essentially tell you how many sessions each of these domains is sending you. And perhaps more importantly, because you run an online store, what revenue you're getting from them. So you can highlight opportunities, and you might be getting traffic from places that you don't even realize that's driving revenue. And, conversely of that, you might be getting traffic and it's driving no revenue, which means, is there something you can do there to improve it? Secondly, the second widget down, should I say, is referring social sources. So again, which social channels are driving your traffic? Is there revenue or isn't there? For example, here, YouTube is driving no revenue. Yes, it's test data, but if this was your website, you need to look and understand why. Where's this traffic landing and why aren't they buying? And then finally, this widget is a breakdown essentially of this visualization in that it tells you your top devices by total sessions, traffic, and then the revenue that those devices bring. And again, it's trend spotting. So you're looking for opportunities here where you've got a lot of traffic and perhaps a lack of revenue. That means that, for example, this Nexus 5, which is driving a decent chunk of traffic, isn't really driving revenue. Is there a problem on that device with your website? Now, when it comes to developing and testing websites, mobile devices, it's improved over time, but it's still a bit of a pain to ensure that your website runs perfectly on every single device on the planet. So again, 80-20 rule, your top devices should be your priority. If there's any low revenues here, that's where you need to be looking. Go out and buy yourself one of these devices if you can afford to, and sit there and test your website. Go through the whole process of purchasing. If there's an issue, you need to find it. And of course, probably more useful is to compare month-on-month and year-on-year data in this view. It can get a little bit complicated, but you've got a traffic trend in the top left-hand side. You've got your traffic versus sessions. You've got your traffic versus revenue trends here. Is your desktop growing or is it diminishing? Same with mobile. And a breakdown of resolutions and so on. Are you getting more devices from a certain brand, a certain resolution? How can you react to that? This is one area that you're probably highly interested in, your mobile traffic behavior. How are you converting year on year, month on month on your different devices? Is your conversion rate improving? Is it going down? So those are two super dashboards, really quick, and potent, and they give you a great insight without having to dive through all the different reports and your social media reporting and your AdWords and so on. You get a top level look of what's going on and essentially identify the top areas that need a tweak or need your attention. I hope you enjoy. Cheers.